Let's build a journal out of our happy mail. Hello and welcome to the treasured page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Today I'm having a look at all the things that I've been sent since March from wonderful swap partners around the UK. And this is part of an international swap that I have been hosting over on my Facebook group, that is the Treasured Page FB group. If you'd like to be involved and see how much fun we're having there, do check out the link below for the Facebook group. And if you would like to take part in a swap, the new sign up for the next 3 months from the 1st of December is available now. So you could add your name and I would put you in a group. It is a commitment for 3 months and you do have to make the projects that I set. So that is all exciting. I'm just going to take some of these things off and put them here. And then we can just get into the box, which is overflowing. I'm going to take out these papers. We're going to see if we can make the front cover today because the signatures seem to be ready. So let's have a look at what we've got. These are the sort of projects that we make. This was a pop-up box that we made and that is lovely. And then we have another project on the go at the moment, which is to make tab binding. So we're showing how to make tab binding to make some interesting envelopes and a mini journal there even, and that is the project for this month. If I'm making a journal from January to December, I'm going to want my festive signature at the back there. So this one is going to be my sort of festive end of the year signature, which I've put at the back. You can make a journal for any time to start at any time. Last year I made a journal completely separate for December and I shall probably do that this year as well. But it is really nice to have the continuity, to have all of the things in there throughout the month. So I'm going to go through the materials that have been sent to me that I can work with. I'm only allowed to use these materials. I cannot go into my stash and use anything else. The challenge is that I'm building a journal completely and entirely from things that I've been sent from my happy mail and my swap partners around the UK. So at the moment I've got these 4 signatures and I'm looking to house them in a nice cover. I've got to make the cover. So here I have made 8 signatures out of all the things that I've been sent. Nothing here has come from my craft room. This is all from the craft tables of the wonderful ladies in my swap group. So I'm incredibly thankful because it does mean that I can make 2 half-yearly journals from the wonderful materials, supplies and scraps that I have been sent. Not to mention the wonderful ephemera projects that we have been making over the months. So if you've been following along with Build a Journal, you will see that this project started this March and we're building a journal for next year. It would be wonderful to be able to start the new year with a new journal. And what I thought is that because I've got such an extensive amount of papers here, I'm going to do mine for the first part of the year and then I've got a second one as well. So it's going to be a 6-month journal and the 2 will be connected because I'm going to be using materials that I have here, so it'll be the same materials being used, albeit in a different way. Because we started in March with some springtime projects, what I would now like to do is bring forward another signature to go on top, and that is going to be my winter part of my journal. I'm very lucky to have been sent some papers in a blue tone, and I've got some sheet music here. I've added it all in like this to create some papers. Here I've got some shorter bits so I can tip in other pages now, so I don't need to add in any more because I would be able to just put in more pages as I go by way of a tip-in process. So this is what I shall be binding in. So let's have a look at the materials that I've got to work with. Now remember, I can't use anything from my stash. I'm only going to use what I've been sent. Fortunately, I've been sent one of these lovely book plates, so that can come and be on the front. I've got 3 decorative pieces of fabric here. So they're in a similar colourway, which is really nice. They all blend. So we've got those. We've got a brown toned fabric here. And we've got some stronger ticking fabric, which is really nice canvas strength there. So I'm thinking that could be something on the spine and give me some strength, so that's good. We've got some hessian or burlap fabric there.
So that's also going to be good. And I've got some decorative papers here because I wasn't sure if I needed anything else. I've got packaging paper here, so we might be able to do something with that. And I have previously shown you that I've got this cover of a drawing book, so I've already taken the pages out and they are now within the journal. And here you can see where I've added the drawing pages into one of the spreads here, being able to flip out using some of the ephemera pieces that I've been sent and the vintage pieces, writing space here, pockets and flips, and over it goes. And then we've got another lovely bit there which I could write on with maybe a white gel pen. I think that would be really nice. And that shows the narrow boats, which I absolutely love. I'm really into different modes of transport other than the usual car. So anything on the waterways with the narrow boats or hot air balloon, anything from a bygone age really interests me. So I'll just turn this inside out so we don't get a glare from the light. And we can have a look at the fabric that I've got. I've also got this fabric here, which I haven't done anything to. I'm not sure about this. I think this is going to be for my second journal. So I might come back to that. And I've got this, which in a previous video I did alter with black tea. So I've stained it, and then I've also flicked some ink on there as well, just to give it a bit more grunge effect. And I think that that's looking a bit more interesting now. I've got a similar swatch of fabric from my stash, and you can see that it was white before, and now I've stained it to fit in with a more vintage vibe. So I'm pleased with that. That was already a buff colour, so that's okay. And then I've also been sent this Amazon packaging, which has been altered by Jeanette, so that is lovely. I think there's strength in that enough to make something for the second part of the journal. So today I'm just focusing on the first journal. I think I shall take this fabric away for the moment. We've also got a bag of trim and scraps. These are great for making the ephemera, so I didn't want to delve into it too much, but there is a little bit of nice lace in there. So I've got this to fall back on as well. So this card is a similar thickness to a cereal packet, so you would be able to find that around your home. And this is just a standard postal envelope, but it is quite strong. I'm going to bring in one of my signatures here just to have a look at the sizing. This was A4 paper folded in half to make A5. It looks like we've got a really good height here, and I wouldn't alter that at all. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm leaving enough space for all of my signatures. So if we put our creative signatures, our text block if you like, into the centre, I can see that either side I'm actually looking at 3 inches, and I would have said 2.5, so it just goes to show that we just underestimate how much expanse we're going to need. So actually going to need 3 inches. So with that in mind, I'm putting my central line here at 1.5 inches, and I'm just going to mark off that. So in total I've got 3 inches, so it's 7.5 centimetres, okay? Just drawing lines on our marks to give a rough idea. So there we go, that didn't take long at all. We've got a nice wide spine, we've got the main part of where the journal's going to live, and we've got the excess here. And it's the excess that I'm interested in turning in to be pockets, but I won't be doing that just yet because we've now got to work out how we're going to cover it. Okay, now we've got the tricky task of working out how we're going to cover the journal in just this scrap of fabric. This is all I've got. And I've got to make it work for certainly the front of the journal and see if I've got some for the back as well. So if I line this up at the bottom, we are short quite a lot if we are to put it on that way, and we are short here. So I'm going to have to cut it up and sew it back together to make it into fabric that is going to fit this. We need extra length on the top and the bottom. So now I've got my score lines in, I'm just folding everything down so this can become a nice wrap-around rounded spine rather than anything straight and square. So that is how that's going to work. So just putting in those creases. So these pieces are folding in and becoming pockets, look very nice as they are actually. I might not even need to cover them. The fabric's going to add strength, but the spine I think we need to reinforce. So that is why I'm bringing in this. So I'm going to cut this piece off here and give myself a section to reinforce the spine. Close that bit down like that, and then we're going to add this piece here. Right, so now I'm going to add my signatures and just double check because I think I might have made the front cover a bit too long. I'm going to have a look and see if we can lose some of that. There we go, yes, so that overhang is a bit too much because I think I was measuring from there, which would have been perfect, and I actually need to come in. So I've just remeasured and I've brought them in there by another 2 centimetres. So 3/4 of an inch I've brought it in on this side and this side. So the total measurement there now is just shy of 4 inches. That's 10.5 centimetres. So I'm bringing this over. So we wrap around and now we can see what the overhang is there now. So I think that that is plenty either side. That is exactly what I wanted. It's about 2 centimetres off of the block and that will allow expansion. And then as it grows, I can be able to bring that in and it to protect it. And also if I want to have embellishments hanging out, tabs, swinging bits, anything, they will be protected by the front cover, which is what I want. So I'm happy with that. So I've finally got my measurements sorted, and that is the front cover. I'm using the bone folder and putting in a permanent crease there and really pressing that down, making sure that it's nice and straight on both sides. And the same on this one. And now it's all about the cover. So I've got to think, what am I going to see on my front panel? Let's just bend it like this. What I don't really want is a great big line there. So I'd like to lose that and just have it around there. I need to leave overhang to fold under. So I've got to come down a bit so that I can wrap that around. And then that's going to be the top. So I can see what I've got. I'm going to have to, oh, it looks like I might be able to cut on that line. Okay, I'm using my fabric rotary blade, my cutting mat and ruler, and I'm just going to cut on the line that I've got here and just take that all the way up like that, and then we have got the two pieces separated. So I'm tucking in this edge here and I'm just putting on the paper clips, keep everything nice and flat like that, and then we can see how much we've got. And I can position the picture where I want to have it. So that is going to be the start of the front cover. Okay, in an attempt to get organised, I've gone through absolutely everything and I've been putting all the little embellished pieces that I've been given into bags. So I've got all my buttons there, I've got little twine and threads and a few clips and safety pins, things in there, and then I've got trim in here, and I've just been pulling things out and offering them up and having a little look and trying to make a plan, and I'll show you where I'm at. So I found a few things that might help. We've got some lace trim there, but I'm not loving the colour next to the brown, but that could help make a pocket inside. So I've got that. Buttons are going to be perhaps interesting to put on the front cover, but I may save those for the other journal because I think I've got enough bits here to create something. I've got this brown paisley fabric which I tried to make a bit grungy by putting it into a coffee stain. It didn't work, so I added some rust water. I've sort of got something darker than what I started with, but it's not gone great because it's a polyester cotton, so it hasn't taken the dye. but it is still fabric and it is going to add strength, so I'm thinking that could be the piece that goes in the middle and helps to strengthen up the binding when I go into it. We've got this burlap, so again that could work as well, but I think that this is quite decorative, so I'd like it to perhaps come and live on the front. So this brings me to what I've got. I've got two pieces of this because I've just cut it in half, and I've got this piece here, but it is in two halves there, so I've got that. So I'm thinking of cutting this in half and saving the other one for the other journal, and likewise for this. So if I do that, I've then got a piece that could come and live quite happily there and decorate the front. I could then do this and have this ticking down the side and be the spine cover. I'd quite like to hide the signature. I quite like to hide the signature stitching, I think, so that's an idea. So we could have something like that with this on top. It is going to fray up a little bit, so that's to be expected. I don't know whether to keep those or not. At this point I'm sort of keeping everything because I'm starting to feel limited now. And I think it's when you limit yourself, that's when the creative ideas come in. So what I've gone and done is, this is the scrap that's come off, and then this is the other piece of fabric that I've got in reserve for my second journal. And I've already measured it out to give myself enough allowance for the second journal, so I think that that will be plenty. It looks like I'm going to do a hard cover for the second journal, and that's going to have to use Amazon packaging. I think it's quite nice to mix and match fabrics so that we get a contrast and something a bit different. So I've got this that I could bring in. I really like that stamp, but then that might also look really lovely inside the journal. So this is where I'm at. I'm looking at pieces and just considering how they could maybe come and work on the front cover as something interesting. So this is just an offcut from that other piece that we just saw. I got quite a lot, and I've got part of the Houses of Parliament there, so I could use that for something. So that's where I'm at with that. I've got this piece here, which again is a double piece, and I think the key here is to use as little as possible so that we create as many scraps as we can, and then they can be used elsewhere. So if we do it like that, that's one option. But what I would have to do is cut this in half to give myself the length that I need for the spine. The alternative is to go this way and have a shorter piece which would cover the binding, but it wouldn't use as much fabric, and then I'd be cutting it off there, which would give me this entire length to play with on the other journal. So I'm thinking that that might be the way to go. But then I've thought, if I say that I did that, if I cut that off, I could do this and have this on the front instead of the burlap, and use the burlap for that same idea to wrap around. And I'm thinking that this is probably where I'd like to go with it, because I like the feel of it and it's got to feel nice. If I have that on the front, then it is a rough texture and it's not as nice, and I've got to enjoy the journal. So I'm thinking that I will prefer to have this soft fabric on the front, then this hiding my binding and being able to see the newspaper fabric peeping through, and from there I can add some more decorative pieces of fabric that I've got and bring in some paper to maybe sew on as well. And I'm just having a little look at what I've got. I've still got things like this that I've been sent, so I really like that idea, and I've also got decorative buttons that we made as well, and little scraps that I've kept, so I could potentially make some patches, although that one looks a little thin. I could back it with a piece of paper and I could sort of sew on some scraps and sew on buttons. And then this starts to give me something a little bit more interesting. I'm going to see if I can rip this. There we go, and just keep the frayed edge, that's nice. And then I've also got things like this, so I could do a bit more of a finished edge and have that there. So there's options, I'll see, because I may prefer that in the journal to decorate. I've also got this idea. I could even sew that on there and have the sewing standard, but I'm not sure I like that. And then I've also got to think around here, I'm not happy with this bit, so I might prefer that to come and be there. All to play with. Okay, I'm making a few decisions now. I think that I prefer this strip here. It may be that I can find some lace or something to go on there eventually, and I'm going to stitch that on, but what I want to do is just put a little bit of this glue so that I can stick it on very roughly. You're just using that like a lapel glue, and I'm putting it on, just covering up that there, and then I can go round and sew that on like an applique patch. So with this project, I'm trying to use only the things that I've been sent. And with that in mind, I'm just having a look and thinking, how am I going to bind this all together? Well, I have been sent this thread, and I think that that will work perfectly to bind the pages together. It does feel a bit silky, so I may be able to run some wax over that. In here, I've got some string, and I'm just considering whether I could sew this on using this string and maybe separate this, because it is the right colour. It's a nice navy blue and there's lots of threads in there, so I could do that. And it looks like I've got 2 lengths of it, so I might do that. I was going to go to the sewing machine and be ever so quick about it, but then I'm thinking actually I'm supposed to be just using what I'm sent. So if I can separate some threads out and find my embroidery needle, I could go round and sew that on. A bit of a laborious task, but I think it would be worth it because it would be very much handmade, hand sewn, and using the things that I've been sent from people that have really cared enough to send them to me. So I think that that's really lovely. I've separated some of the string out from the other strands. We've got 3 on that one, 2 on that one. I think there was another one that's come off it, so there were 6 strands in that piece of string. Amazing. So that's quite it broke, so that is now scraps to become an embellishment for something. So we've got 2 little sort of balls of string there that when we start pairing it with some of our other scraps, and then we add that and maybe a button, we've got something interesting. So we'll keep all of these little things. Stitching this on using this navy thread and just going about it like this, just putting in some very simple stitches and just pulling that through. So with this stitching, I'm just going to do the understitch going under the blue line, coming up, and then I'm going to go over the white line, and I'm just going to just wiggle my needle in and out there and see if we can make this nice and straightforward and quick. Just get those stitches in place like that in a nice running stitch. It's going to keep the patch in place. Everything's a little bit haphazard. That's absolutely lovely. I think that that adds to the homemade charm, and it's just going to look a little bit more primitive and rustic, and I think that that is just a nice charming part of being able to make do with what we've got, make do and mend if you like. Well, I'm not mending anything, but I'm definitely creating something from not a lot, and that is the joy of slowing down and the joy of relaxing and looking at what we've got, recycling materials, and just in general making everything feel treasured and special, and honouring the things, the supplies and the resources that we have to hand. Okay, now I've sewn my patch on here. I'm just having a look at what I've got over here, and I quite like this element on this fabric, so I'm going to I know that this is my allowance that's going to wrap round, so I'm going to just take this bit away and I'll just snip up towards the pocket watch. I don't want to cut into the pocket watch because that could be something else, a nice scrap to keep for sure. So I'm just going to cut this bit away. I think That gives me enough allowance. That gives me a nice scrap of fabric and also a bowler hat if I want one, but that's good fabric there, and I might be able to do a stamp on that, so we'll keep that. That's a good piece, and then we've also got this as well to play with. With this piece, I think I'm going to add it onto this card here. This is given to me by Pat, both actually, the fabric and the card. So what I'm going to do is use this as a substrate to make a nice sturdy pocket, and then that can come and live somewhere. It either go on the front or it can go on the inside, but either way I'm just going to glue that down and sew round. Straighten this up, there we go. So I'm going to keep that card in case I need to make a tag, and probably the same here. Keep the longer scraps just in case we want to do anything, and then take those bits, we can let those go. This is going to just come and be a sneaky pocket. While I can still get this under the sewing machine, I think I would quite like to sew that on, and then I'm just going to have a look at how this could potentially look and be a nice arrangement. And now looking in the buttons here to see what small buttons I've got, whether I can add these on here to make something interesting. I've got, that's quite cool because I've got the colours coming in there. So I'm going to use the thread that I've been given here to sew my buttons on in a nice cream, and that is just going to be those two that will be sewn onto this card. And here you can see I've sewn the first two buttons on, so I'm going to now take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew down this edge along here and up here, turning this over, and sew my pocket onto the main fabric. I'm just having a look at my options here of what I could put on before I go ahead and sew those buttons on. I might also want to sew on some other things. I'm just going to tear to give a rough edge, and I think that this could come and live up here somewhere. And for that I will just sew round into the main cloth, but I just wanted to put it into more of a book shape so I can understand what it could look like and work with all the little things that I've got here. So I think I could have my book plate like that. I've also been given this wooden sticker plaque, but whether I want that on the other journal or whether this looks good here, I'm just playing around with the little things. I've also got some buttons that I might like, larger buttons, to have them like that. So I'm really just having a little play and thinking, do I want maybe another little patch of fabric to come in there? So this is sort of these decisions that we have to make. But what's also happened is that I've received some post today which I haven't gone through, and I've just had a little break to go and get myself a coffee, which I've got here, and I found this. I've put a postcard over the top because that's my address, but I've received this today and I know exactly what this is. This is from one of the lovely swap partners, and this is a project from October, and I'm going to open it here on camera. So I've just opened that now. I'm just going to pull this out and see what we've got, because whatever is in here can also come and be part of this journal. Oh right, wow. So, oh my goodness. So we could have some things that change everything. Let's have a little look. So this parcel's come from Shropshire. This is from Glynis. So thank you so much to Glynis. Thank you for your amazing YouTube channel and all you do to bring a community of crafters and like-minded individuals together. Your videos are well researched, put together and easy to follow. I hope you like the enclosed. Best wishes, Glynis. Oh my goodness, that is so lovely. Oh, what have you sent? So this is all part of the swap. And there's lots of lovely little bits there. A little robin. Okay, so this is the pop-up bag. Oh my goodness. These are extras, so we'll have a quick look at that. But this is the pop-up bag. Oh, the cat. And a very cool yellow paper bag. So Poems and Pieces. Look at these birds. Oh my goodness, it's blue. Tiger, tiger. Oh, that's William Blake. Look at this. Ta-da! Oh, tiger, tiger. That is excellent. Oh, you have been watching me. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. That is so fun. That is, what did I just say? William Blake. Oh, that is so lovely. And there's some sparkle in there as well. Well, I do like tigers. I've got a whole journal dedicated to tigers. So this really should come in my tiger journal, but it can't. It's going to come in this one. Oh, that changes everything, doesn't it? Right, so this could even come and live on my front page and be my tiger pop-up. I love it. Look at that, all sparkly. Or maybe we'll put it with the festive sparkles at the end of the journal. Who knows? But I love that. That is really, really fun. That's really different as well. I love that colour. Oh, this is so exciting. So we've got the tiger, tiger little poem there, all written by William Blake. I love that. Wow, now I've just gone and got my signature that is going to be at the end of my journal. So this is my more festive part of the year. So I'm thinking that this could potentially come and live in here. Could even go on the front there. The colours clash a little bit, but I actually don't mind that. And then if I brought it in here, there's sort of a blanker bit there. And I was thinking that a belly band would look nice there. So it might live here and look a bit cool and rustic. I like that. I actually think that that's really good. And then of course the pop-up would work. And I could put it down, I could have it as a belly band, but I think it would work well to stick down as a tuck so that we can tuck things into it. And it's also this pop-up. It's beautifully made. It's really lovely and thin. So I'm delighted with that. I think that that would look really nice there with the glitter. It's got glitter and sparkles on it. And yeah, I really think that that's going to come and work well in this part of the journal. And then I've got some lovely sparkly trim. So let's whistle through this now. I've got some, these are fun. This is quite nice, like kitsch flowers. So they're plastic flowers. I don't think we could put it on the front of the journal, but you know, anything goes. So, oopsie, what have I lost? Oh no, I've just thrown my buttons everywhere. Ah, there's one, and one flew off on the floor. Right, well, we appear to have lost the button on the floor, never to be seen again in this craft room. So if it turns up, that would be great. I did find a little tag and a little flower embellishment, which that came from Pat, so that's part of this. This isn't, so we'll take that away. But Jeanette and Cheryl have sent me quite a lot of buttons, so all is not lost. We'll just pick out another one because I don't think I can scrabble around under my craft desk. There's a nice little one. It was yellow, and I thought the yellow one looked quite nice. So we could have that up there. Oh, that's probably even nicer. Or there's a small one. We want them the same size. Let's go with that. I like the yellow. Try and incorporate those somehow. And let's just see what else we've got that could come and work within the journal or the front cover, because it's just at the right time now to be able to put these things on before I sew them down. That is beautiful. Oh, well, that's a really nice card, so that can come and tip in. And then the ducks, that's lovely. Okay, that's more decoration and some papers here. So this is for making ephemera with. And then we've got a stamp there with a succulent plant. That's quite good, isn't it? A little bit of book page talking about Christmas. So this is definitely coming in the Christmas journal. Oh my goodness, I can see this already. Look at this robin. He can definitely come in. Oh, I like that there. I think that's really sweet. This seems to be the bird section of the journal. Look at that. See, I could even sew that in. Great. What have we got here? The little fir tree. So yeah, definitely this is going to come and decorate the Christmas side of the journal. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, look. But these, oh wow. So fun when you find different things you've never seen before. Look at these. These are felt stars. That's so cool. Look. Huh. Little stick-ons. Never seen anything like that. Never failed to be amazed. Oh, this is going to be good, isn't it? This is just going to come and spice things up. Oh wow, we want one more really. Keep knocking everything off. Oh, I know what I've got. I've been sent some pom-pom trim of garland and make this really look festive, or just have a couple of bits swinging about on the top and have something there. Oh, it's all collapsing. As a avalanche, a craft-a-lanche. A craft-a-lanche, brilliant. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty good. I think I just want to stick those down and it'll be a cascade of felt stars, really chunky as well. Look at that. I've seen everything. I've got some tags so we can stain those up. Fab little clip, so that's useful. And then we've got this, whatever this is. Nice, isn't that nicely done? Almost don't want to unwrap that. I like that as it is. That would make a fabulous pocket and just sort of keep it like that. Let's see if I can get in there without... I might be able to put that back how it was in a minute. Oh, wow. Lots of stamps. I could do a collage with those. Some really good ones. Look at that. And then a little very delicate book page snowflake. Gosh, that would want some very careful attachment onto a page. But they're really sweet. And then that there. Perhaps put the string back on it. This is nice thick card, so that's really good. I can probably make a spine out of that for the next journal, so I'm definitely keeping that. And I shall cut out these stamped images of the holly and the berries. So we'll use all of those things, and even the paper as well will be used. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew round this, and I think I'm going to go with a little patch idea of a different fabric. So I have sewn on all the pieces and I've stuck this on with glue, and what I'm hoping is that I will get some brads to put through there eventually. If not, I will sew them on and we'll make that look a little bit better. But for now I just want to keep it tacked on there. I have used a 3-in-1 glue, so really that's probably very, very secure, but I would just want to emphasise that strength by sewing or binding it with a brad or paper fastener of some sort. So I haven't got that in my stash. I'm going to stay true to just using what I've been given, and I haven't been given that yet, so we'll have to wait and see if I get one towards the end of this project. But for now we've got a lovely pocket there. We've got our little area here where I could put in this, I could put that in there, because that would slide in. I'm not sure at the moment because I might want that for something else. So I'm going to put that in the pocket as an idea. Okay, I've got to this point where I've just pinned this bit because I've used this line as my guide. That's where I want to have that. And what I'm going to do is just lie that flat and just check. I've got quite a lot here to pull in on both sides. So traditionally when cloth is used in bookbinding, we have to turn it into a book cloth. And by that you would add glue to paper and then you would add the cloth to the paper. Well, in this is a junk journal and anything goes, and this is going to be for me, and we're not selling it and we're not trying to win awards or competitions here. I am just putting my glue onto paper essentially. I'm putting it onto card, but I'm doing a very thin coat here using the PVA and the paintbrush. And what we don't want really is the glue to seep through into the fabric and create a wet look on the fabric front. So I'm just applying this in a very thin way, because how we would tackle making book cloth is to do just this with a paste. Traditionally it would have been a wheat paste or something, and then we would put that onto the fabric, or the fabric would then go on top. But because this is paper and we've just put our paste on there, even though it's a shiny surface and nothing about this is correct, we are just going to go with it and add that down like that, and hopefully that's stuck in a nice straight way without too much seeping through. I'm just treating it as if it's a piece of paper and smoothing it out, and come down with my 3-in-1. Now this is going to be a pocket that is turned in, so we won't be seeing this bit, so it doesn't matter, but I'll just do that, and then I can bring in my fabric, and I'm just going to roll that over like that. When I pull that up and do the same all the way around, that is how that's going to work. So I'm just going to peel that open. Probably should have done this right at the beginning, but I'll just take off a little triangle there, and that's it, so that I can just pull that in, and then that will all sit in without adding extra bulk. Okay, so we're just going to go around and do that for the next bit here, and then we'll just roll it back over. I'm stretching the fabric gently, and then I'm pushing that down, and then I'll bring it back over, so we just make sure that this gets into position. Really important that I spread the glue out evenly. Just pull that in. So now everything is sticking down nicely. It just needs to be left to dry. I'm going to put something heavy on there just to weigh that down so that it dries nice and evenly. And when I bring this side and this side in, you can see they will become the pockets, and I've only got to worry about this lighter area here to cover with something decorative, because we're going to have this that goes in the middle. This brown fabric is going to be the centre bit where I will sew into. So I haven't got to find too much of my scraps to cover that to make it all complete. So what I'm going to do is to leave that to set and then think about something to decorate the inside. But this is how it's looking on the front, and that's a perfectly great soft journal cover. It feels strong. When it dries, it's going to be even better. It's got this grungy background, so it doesn't matter that some of the glue has seeped through a little on the spine. I'm going to be covering that bit over anyway with burlap, so we won't see much of it. And I've been given so many little pieces of lace and decorative things that I will be able to cover up any kind of mistakes or any areas that I'm not happy with when it's dry. But as it stands at the moment, I think that that is looking really good for something that is from nothing, really making it out of just the scraps and trying to piece it together into something that we can arguably say, yep, that looks really good and we're pleased with. So if I carry on any longer, we'll never get the video out, but certainly that's where I'm leaving the project today. So if you are interested in building your own journal, do have a look at the playlist here on YouTube. That is Build a Journal for 2024. You'll be able to catch up with some of the projects there. You'll also be able to follow along with the projects here on YouTube as I put them up on the 1st of every month, and you can play along and be able to make your own signature and find things around your home that you could use. I don't think that anything here is something that you couldn't find. You can definitely find a cover of a book. You can definitely find cereal packet that you could use. You can definitely find a scrap of fabric or an old shirt that you could use the fabric of and then hand sew in a very haphazard way another patch on. This is just to give you an idea of what can be achieved from clutter that you have around your home already. And if you would like to swap and share with somebody else, then you can of course have a look and see how we're getting on the Facebook page. I'll leave the link below for the Treasured Page FB group, and sign up for the next swap is taking place now over there. You can add your name and the country where you live. We have people swapping in Canada, America and the UK, but we are open to suggestions. So do list your interest and I'll see if I can help you with a swap. So we'll revisit this project very soon in videos coming up, and I hope that you've enjoyed that. Give me a thumbs up, a like and a comment if you thought that that was worth your time, and do subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my videos. I will see you all very soon, but above everything else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye-bye now.